I think it would be very funny if we force all of our guests to do our intro.
I don't watch the podcast. I don't know your intro.
I'm going to say something crazy. I don't know the podcast. I don't know the intro.
Well, it's because it's not like an intro. You just go, hello, welcome back to Binge and Cringe. That's
Let me turn on the... hang on.
That's
I got it. Let me turn on the YouTuber.
Go on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Binge and Cringe. On this episode, I, The Veil, am showing Stans and Cant's Morbius, the greatest movie of all time. It made $1 more billion. Let's get into it.
Okay, so I would like to say, first of all, great intro. Second of all, that is insane for you to say, specifically because you aren't joking.
I believe that it... Well, let me clarify. I don't think it's the greatest movie ever made as movies as an art form. I do think it's the greatest movie ever made.
Supposed to what?
Entertainment. I think that you can like pop music. You can really like a pop song and it can be really good, but artistically be very like simple and not.
Okay.
That is
very
disrespectful
expressive.
to pop music.
Not all pop music.
So
Yeah, I just think Morbius. Now, I have feelings about Morbius, and the biggest feeling is I feel like I've seen this movie 100 times because I
But
watched
you've never
it.
sat down to see it once.
No, I've watched it once, and then I also watched Homeboy. Watch it 500 times, and so in my
Homeboy?
soul, yeah, Eddie Burback.
He likes it?
Oh, so you...
No, he didn't like it. He made a video where it was self-torture, where he forced himself to watch it every day for the week. And so I feel like I've seen it with Eddie that many times, which is crazy because I've only seen it once, and I have no interest in watching it again.
Interesting.
So-
Well, I mean, I've done what Eddie did, but naturally, because I think it's one of the most...
organically through
Yeah.
life, because you like it so much.
I do. I've seen it, I think, 8 or 9 times at this
Is
point.
that true, or are you doing a bit?
Nope, not a bit.
That's what I kept on saying, because
Very
it felt like he was
true.
doing a bit, and he's not. It's
You
real.
can ask Cans, do I own this movie? Did I
Well,
immediately...
yeah, that's how we're watching it today. Is like I was like, oh, I'll rent it or whatever. He's like, no, I've got it. I've already bought it
purchased
digitally.
it.
Got it.
Insane. We've all seen it, but I feel like I don't really remember almost anything. I've seen it through. There was that period of time where everyone on Twitch was just streaming movies. And
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
a full
Wait,
length
you
of
watched
movies.
it through like a Twitch playthrough?
Yeah, I started like 20 minutes into one of the live streams of Morbius, and then the stream got cut down, and then I clicked on another stream, and it was 20 minutes to the end of Morbius.
So you haven't
I've
even
never
seen
seen
it.
it through.
Oh,
No.
you haven't even seen most of it. You've seen
Yeah.
Well, in
And
his
then
defense, the movie is like an hour and 20 minutes long.
I've seen
you've
40
half
minutes of the
it.
movie, so
Yeah, you've actually seen half of it. Now, that being said, I do think it's a movie that, I really resonate with what you said about, not remembering a lot of it. I think that it's one of those movies that you just pick so much up every time you watch. You get, it's a totally new experience every time. And I think that if you miss one moment, parts won't make sense. But also, if you don't miss a minute,
parts
won't
also
make
will
sense.
not make sense. Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah.
That is something I remember
sorry.
vividly.
What you're saying is that it just... I think you could simplify that statement by just saying it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it leads a lot up to the interpretation. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what true art is, everybody. So,
Up to interpretation. So true.
all right, well, I'm ready to pound on it because I mean, I have a lot of fun facts about this movie. Should I start with the fun fact?
Yeah, I would love if you start with the fun fact, but I need to know if these fun facts are real. Because one time you told me that Morbius made more than Cans. Can you check the tape? What was the movie?
$1 more billion, I think.
No. Because we were in a call, and he said that this Morbius made more money
this is so insane.
than like a
Yeah,
Disney
yeah.
movie, and it was so far off it wasn't close.
You said that Morbius made more money than
God, what was it?
like a Disney Pixar movie or something.
Yeah.
That was like
We looked
Morbius
it up
made
and
like
it was
10 billion.
embarrassing.
10 million, and this made like 1 billion, and it was
I know it was
actually
like 70
fucking
million. But
crazy.
yeah, it was off by 70
The difference
million.
was huge.
I mean, it
So-
made a more $1 billion, and it's the only movie to ever do that.
That is you can't actually argue with that. I do agree. It's the only one that's made him more $1 billion. So
I think it's so funny that people like The Veil have memed that they like this movie so much that like Sony put it back in theaters and no one bought tickets. That's the best part of Morbius lore is they're like, wait, they love us. They really love us. And
Do you want to know what you?
That's one of Vale's facts, I think. It's the only film to be re-released and be just as bad both times.
I think is the only film to be re-released within a year of itself.
That I could believe.
For a theatrical run. I could be. I definitely could be wrong.
Yeah, without checking any of these facts whatsoever, I agree with that one.
No, the other facts I have are checked. Like, for instance, Jared Leto considers himself to be a method actor, but in the worst ways. For instance, Dr. Michael Morbius's blood condition has him walking on crutches. So Jared Leto took it upon himself to, for the month of filming, walk on crutches, and it became such a nuisance to production because of how long it took him to get places that they made him agree to ride around in a wheelchair and got one of the assistants to push him around in a wheelchair, even though
just so that he could stay in method, but be quick, because otherwise he'd be a literal person without working legs.
He was like, yes, this makes sense. And Morbius never uses a wheelchair in the film.
Yeah, he's also not really, from what I've seen 40 minutes out of the movie, he's kind of crutching walking, but then he's
he crutch
mostly
walks all the time.
But he's mostly Morbius, right? He's mostly Morbin time for most of the movie.
For the first half hour, he's crutch only.
It feels weird to go full method act into half of your role, right? If the other half is him being a Morbius vampire man, what did he do for that part?
I'm sorry. Do you think that he could method act being a vampire man sucking the blood out of people? He method acted the only thing he could method act.
Well,
I think he does that anyway.
He did some crazy shit for Joker. Do you know, he gave them dead rats and stuff every day and pig's head and shit. He was fucked for Joker.
Did you hear the Paul Dano? I just watched that GameStop movie Paul Dano's in.
I did as well. Great film.
No, it's terrible.
Stan's hated it.
Awful.
Yeah.
You are just in a bad mood. You're grumpy.
No, I'm not. Everyone accuses me of being in a bad mood when the media
when you don't like things.
When I don't like things, which is just I don't like things.
Yeah,
but
that's just Stan.
Sorry, we're talking about quotes from Batman movies. Paul Dano had to wear that Riddler thing where he duct taped his head. And there's a quote of him saying, it was so hot in there that at night he felt like the real Riddler. He couldn't sleep and he would just wake up giggling.
That's insane.
He felt like the real Riddler.
Yeah, he said
so
it was
funny.
so tight and got so hot that he thought he was turning into the Riddler, which is...
Wait, so sorry. You mean during... he wasn't wearing it to bed. I mean, it sounded like he was trying to go to sleep. But
it was so long all day of wearing it that it was he was getting heat stroke and it was causing defects in his brain. He was turning into a supervillain. Yeah, look up the quote because I'm not going to, but it's good. I'm talking to the listeners.
Yeah, I'm also not. Fuck that. But that was that's insane that you're almost forced into the method acting because you're it's that's what happened on The Shining, right? Was he basically tortured the main woman because
excuse me
the main lady, I can't remember any of the actors' names from that.
Fair enough.
But she was actually terrified because they did 1,000 takes or something, and he was just making her scream. There's some stories about it. The director was fucking crazy for that one, wasn't it? Right.
Kubrick, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson harassed her most of the filming because he wanted her to be afraid of him.
That's
so it's forced method acting where you're the victim,
right? And non-consenting method acting, to be clear.
Yeah,
I think method actors. I forget who it's a quote from, but it was basically you only see people method act when it's doing.
It's when the character's an asshole. When the
people.
person, yeah, exactly. No one method acts like Mr. Rogers. No one's out there being a kind neighbor to the other person.
Except then Margot Robbie for Barbie did method act with not Channing Tatum, with Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, yeah.
She would get him a gift every day and put it in a little pink box and leave it in his trailer, and it would be sunglasses for the beach. Like it would just be a little like Barbie
That's
trinket.
cute.
And so that every day on set he would show up and the first words out of his mouth were, "Hey, I got your gift. Thanks, Barbie." And like that was the method acting. So she's the only outlier.
So Chad.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's insane. It's the same thing that Jared Leto was doing with the Joker, but for his character it was dead rats because that makes sense for his character, whereas Barbie's isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you justifying Jared Leto
based.
giving these rats to people? By the way.
Yeah. I'm starting to think he's kind of based now. Do you have any more interesting Jared Leto Morbius facts for us, Vale?
Oh man, the film was shot before No Way Home, and they had to. The spoiler alerts.
The
there are some
post-credit scene.
things-
Yes, I actually forgot this was a thing.
There are things in the movie that tie into No Way Home, and the director literally didn't know what it was, but they were like, "You need to reshoot this and just do this." But it doesn't make it make any more sense, and I think I'll come back to this because they had already incorporated the spoiler thing without it. They just didn't have even like a little explanation. They were just
Okay,
like, this
yeah,
would
no
be
spoilers.
cool. He also knew the end of Endgame before it was released because of the grapevine while recording.
Wait, sorry, you meet who knew it? The director or
The
like
director.
everyone?
Dr.
Yeah,
Michael
it didn't tie
Morbius
into
knew
it.
it, to be clear.
In
Dr.
universe.
Yeah.
In universe, Endgame came out and he knew
He
it.
watched the
he
movie,
knew the ending before us. That's crazy.
Matt Smith didn't know anything really. Like he said, his character didn't make any sense, and they never went into his backstory, leading many to believe that any of the childhood scenes at the beginning were completely reshot, where they were like a part of reshoots without the main actor's knowledge. So they went into it devoid of the first 20 minutes of explanation, which when you watch it, it doesn't even really make sense, but then it makes way less sense.
Okay, well, pause for a second because you're talking about Matt Smith, and I've just had a fucking brain blast
have
revelation
sex.
Have sex.
of the best thing to ever come of this movie, which is have sex. Who cares about the more $1 billion and all the other Morbius memes and all that shit? Because
Poop my
I thought
pants,
that was
my
actually
pants.
kind of cringe. But have sex.
He also only
So
agreed
good.
to it because he is, as many people may know, he played the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who and co-starred Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula in multiple Marvel movies. He was worried because he didn't believe in the script. The film seemed weird and went to her, and she's like, "No, it was the best decision I ever made to get into the comic book movies. They're so
Just
great."
trust them, dude. They'll fix it.
Right.
in
And
post.
then he said he ended up finally deciding on it because he really loves vampire movies and he wanted to do a movie where he could fly around and kill people. And that was the full motivation.
That is such a base motivation to take a role just because you want to fly around and kill people. That's so
Yeah,
sick.
I think most actors try it. Like if you ask Jared Leto why he played Morbius, he gives some bullshit answer where he's like, I just think that like the dichotomy between like the beast within and all this. is like,
Yeah.
And if
Wait,
you
you're
ask Matt
cooking.
Smith, he was
Hold.
like, "No, you're not, because it's not supposed to be an art film. It is pure unadulterated entertainment. It's like Fast and Furious, but with vampires and cooler."
You're comparing it to good things constantly, like Fast and Furious, and that's what's most frustrating to me, I think.
Stans, does it blow your mind that you're not the king of what content is good and bad here?
Hey, no. So, but pause, because you're acting like this is me and you, Vale, against Stans. I
You don't
am
agree,
team
yeah,
Stans in this. I want
Right.
to be very clear.
All
that I
right,
think
then let
that
me
you're a
rephrase.
psychopath.
Cance, how does it feel to be the jester to the king of what content is good or bad?
Okay, that is I'm on board with that analogy as long as you're like the fucking crazed peasant you've got the world is gonna end like poster on and you're shouting from the streets that it made $1 more billion.
I'm like, the
and the
goblins are
world's gonna
coming.
end.
There's a dragon.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
And the
That's you
dragon's
in this.
played by Jared Leto.
At least I'm working for the king, I don't care.
Wow,
And
all
Stans
right.
is the king in this, so this is great. Wait,
That's
I
actually
love this
pretty sick
analogy.
now that I think about it, yeah.
I
Yeah.
assumed that you were a monarchist because of being from the UK, but now it just
Oh wait,
confirms
shit.
it.
I actually hate the monarchy. Fuck. What do I do now?
Can't take it back. Clip it
I'm
and
gonna
ship
kill
it, boys.
Stans. No, dude.
Excuse me?
What the frick? I know we haven't seen the movie yet, so we should try and avoid spoilers, kind of. I think most people have seen or know of Morbius, and if they don't, they probably don't care about spoilers.
Right,
at
that's
this point,
a
so we
good
don't
thing.
need to worry.
They're happy that they have not seen Morbius.
Yeah, we don't need to worry too much, but I think we can get into like plot details and all that kind of stuff when we get to the second half of this, which is after we've seen the film.
Oh boy.
But speaking, I want to create like a hypothetical question. If the Morbius drug that makes you go full morb, that like there's obviously downsides, but there's upsides. Would you morb if the morb drug existed in real life and you were the only person that could take it, and you have to decide if you throw it away or you take the Morbius drug? Do you take Morbius drug?
Stans, do you want to go first, or can I take this one?
I'm happy to go first here because it's an easy one. Of course, I take Morbius drug.
That's insane.
Yo! Wait,
why is that insane? You love this movie. I thought you would be the one that
I do love the movie, but I don't love the idea of I get slight superpowers that, compared to other superpowers, aren't that cool. And then the cutoff is I crave human blood constantly.
Yeah.
And we the only place to get it in this world would be to suck it from other people. I'm not entirely down.
You want to take away powers that allow you to suck people for a
also,
different reason
why
other
do you
than when
think
you
the
want
only
to?
place I could get it is from humans? Why can't we have a synthetic like in, pardon the spoiler, the movie?
You just
Yeah, isn't the
spoiled
whole-
it, Stans.
No, but that's like early on, right? That's the whole point
You
of the
have
thing.
to pay
So that's fine.
for the Patreon to be able to watch along.
Wait, he's cooking. So true.
If you want to know what the
Tell them
synthetic
more.
blood is, you have to spend $5, and then you get a lot of good content like Glee, Glee 2 Electric Boogaloo,
High School
third episode of
Musical.
Glee.
High School
and
Musical,
this, like,
which
you
I'm a
will not
little...
be able to watch Morbius unless you're on the Patreon. Otherwise, you have to just come back to us after we've been fully morbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's really funny is if you're not subscribed to our Patreon, we've actually linked up with Sony and every single like streaming service. They're not showing it anywhere else. It's just on our Patreon. It's crazy. You have to just subscribe right now.
It's the only
and
way.
You get the only way you can see the movie, even though we don't have the movie on there.
Yes,
It's the
because
only way you can-
Morbius wants to limit the audience that can watch it. You're right. You're 100%
Well, yeah, because they're
right.
embarrassed by how few people are watching fucking Morbius.
No. There's too many people watching it, and it's going to break the internet. So we're trying to limit the amount. Obviously,
You know what? That
It's like
tracks now that I
hype
think
shit.
about it.
I get it.
Okay, sorry. So, Vale, you don't want to because you don't want to suck, whereas Stans is like Giga Chad Morbis pilled. Is that? Did I get everything right?
Tracks
Yes.
with me.
What do you think are the benefits that outweigh those insane negatives, Stans,
Me?
for Morbius pill? Yeah.
Oh, I just think anything novel and interesting would be better than being a human.
You're just thinking I could make a YouTube short out of this.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, that's
I
exactly
morbed for $1 more billion. No, I just think like, why not, dude? If no one else can do this thing, why wouldn't I do this thing? You know?
I took the Morbius pill and played Super Auto Pets.
I just think it'd be cool. Matt Smith would do a movie to be a superhero, and you're making fun of me for just saying like, yeah, it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool.
You're
Yeah,
not
but-
Matt Smith. I want to just...
Bro.
This analogy falls apart immediately because you're not him, man. You're not him.
bro.
What are you talking about? I could be him.
He can play
But
the
also-
doctor trying to have you pop out of a time machine and be this like whimsical, fascinating human being would be insane because everybody
whimsical.
would expect you to be like, we have kombucha in here, and then that would be it. So like,
I
you're
will
not
say,
him, man.
hold on. I could see Stans being a doctor, like the doctor from.
You're as the only Doctor Who fan in here.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I like Doctor
You
Who.
said you're not a Doctor Who fan the other day.
Not me.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I said I haven't watched like the most recent seasons because it kind of fell off and
Then
was
you're
cringe.
not a
but
Doctor Who fan. No, you're not.
No, I'm sorry. You could be a fan of something if you think the most recent seasons are cringe.
Fake
and you just
fan.
like
We
the
got a fake
previous.
fan here, folks.
We got a fake
That's
fan
like,
here, ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
like saying no one in the world is a fan of Game of Thrones just because people don't like the last season.
No,
right?
it's if
Like,
they
I
didn't
was a
watch
fan of
any.
Game of
If they
Thrones.
didn't watch the last 2 seasons, yes,
They'd
they're
be
not
bigger
a Game of
fans, to be honest.
No.
Now
Yeah,
we're talking about
exactly.
it, yeah.
I tell people to not watch the last 2 seasons of Game of
Bandwagoner
Thrones.
is what we call that here in the States.
How can I be a bandwagoner? I watched it when it came out.
Kant's a bit of a
Of
bandwagoner
Doctor
now that
Who.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, of Doctor Who. I watched the first episode of Christopher Eccleston coming out.
But you-
Oh my
But
god,
when
didn't even
it
watch the
liked it when it was-
1970s version? Holy shit,
have.
we got a fake fan here.
I have a book that is the Doctor Who encyclopedia that I've read all the way through. I'm a
not
true
saying that
Whovian.
I'm more of a fan. I'm saying that I am still a fan. You can't gatekeep me liking something.
Okay,
you can't
as-
just say I don't like it.
We may lose some people here, but it's for the greater good. I'm going to ask you some very basic Doctor Who questions. That the most
Why?
basic
Wait, no, this is
Whovian-
not for the greater
No, because
good.
I'm proving my I'm proving
You can
my
ask me off
knowledge.
podcast when we don't have to fucking keep
Yeah, you're
people's
scared.
interest
Yeah, you're
without
scared.
people falling asleep.
Everybody
I'm so
say in the
scared.
comments, Scan is scared.
Yeah.
Scan,
Sweat-
Scan is scared.
Scared?
No, you guys cannot do
is
the voice.
scared.
You guys are just jerking each other off in a corner.
I didn't do the voice. I just did a voice. Also,
No,
on
you
the
just
note,
can't speak.
on the note of voices, I'm very sorry that it sounds like I just sucked off a whole line of people. We had a very long weekend full of drinking and shouting, and may have had a full mock trial debate until 4 a.m. on whether or not Logic Defender is cringe. And so
We
I
actually
have been
did. It
hoarse
was
for 3 days
crazy.
straight.
It was actually insane.
Who
We
do you
were
guys
up
think
for
this
so
podcast is
long.
for? I'm gonna cut you off. This is crazy.
I'm gonna be honest, Stan. Nerds.
People don't even know who
Your
Logic
fans-
Defender is, and I love Logic Defender. But what are we
Your
doing here?
fans are nerds.
I'm not trying to talk about this. He brought it up. I don't know what we're doing here. We were learning about more $1 billion and Morbius facts, and I thought that maybe Vale had some more. And then he's like, "Hey, do you know we did a mock trial?"
I'm ready to watch Morbius.
No, we
I'm
need
ready.
more facts. Vale.
You get one more fact, and if it's a bad fact, I'm out.
Okay, well that.
I'm getting. The
I think
feeling that
we
Vale's
should
out of
watch.
facts.
I think we should. No, I think we should watch the film.
You don't have any more good facts? Excuse me?
No, there are a lot more good facts, but you're not gonna think they're good. So it's like I don't want to
We're
risk.
gonna end on one.
This is the only. This is the only chance I get to watch Morbius with people, and I'm not willing to risk it. So
Right. I actually
Stan's
respect
just
that.
contractually obligated to
if
watch it.
you
So we're
want
fine.
another Morbius fact, then you have to pay for the Patreon. To
We're
get
gonna
maybe the
start
greatest Morbius fact
start
of
the
all.
live com with the best Morbius fact, and if you pay $5, you can watch along with us on the Patreon. We will have the full live commentary. Unfortunately, because of the Morbillion thing that's going on with Sony, and they're trying to take all of our, I don't know what's going on. They're doing crazy shit. It's not on Disney Plus, so it doesn't work with the extension, but you can sync it up. We will make that very clear when we're starting. And if you are on the fence and you're like, I don't know if I want to subscribe to blah, 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 here's a little clip of us watching Morbius.
Have sex. Poop my pants.
I was like, poop my pants.
Lyrics. Have sex. Have sex.
Dude. And we're back. I will say that was the more billionth best movie that I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys will agree, but
That was my second time watching it all the way through. And I don't want to say it was worse than the first time. I would say it was exactly as bad, which is maybe the worst movie I've ever seen.
yeah, I'd second that. Vale, how are you feeling?
Every time I watch the movie, I get to pick up a little bit more of it, a little bit more.
That
of
was
it
a recurring
every
theme,
time.
actually, through the live commentary. You were calling
Yeah.
out things that you didn't recognize that now you
Yeah.
in
He
your
was
ninth
learning
watch through.
things
Yeah.
about a movie, things that weren't like, oh wow, here's a cool little Easter egg that I've never seen.
Can I
before.
level with you?
Yeah.
This was maybe the first time I watched all the way through sober.
I got it. And that's why you were noticing so many
explains a
things.
lot.
Yeah.
Because you were noticing things that weren't just like, oh, did you notice? I noticed that there was like a little hamster in the corner, and that relates to Hamster Man from the comics. You were noticing things that was like, oh, I didn't realize that this character talked to this character in this whole entire scene.
You actually
It was
mixed up
crazy.
the two women who worked at the hospital. There's only two women that work at the hospital, and you mixed them up immediately.
Don't make me sound like Kent, who was like, She can't be a doctor. She's a nurse.
He did say that. You have to check out the live Patreon commentary, but Cam said that unironically in the middle of the recording.
It was super misogynistic.
True. I
very
did
serious.
say that. It was very misogynistic, but crazy that it was probably the 10th, like, bad
Ninth.
thing that was said in the whole entire thing by everyone. And I would say that Stan's being operated by a veil pressing buttons. He said some crazy shit. You should check out the
I
Patreon.
will say that was maybe the only moments of joy I had throughout that whole recording. Was getting to do a funny bit.
I have a button that makes Stan say a slur, and
No, you
gotta
don't
find
have
out
that.
if
It
I
doesn't
expressed
exist.
it.
And what's crazy is that meant that he previously recorded it, so we could just have it as a button in this whole entire.
I didn't record
episode.
it. And that
It was
didn't
crazy.
happen. It didn't happen.
Listen. Every time I watch this movie, I feel like a better person. I feel like my life is enriched.
Every time I watch this movie, I poop my pants.
This is
Have sex.
So here, I'm going to let you guys in on a little problem. They did not experience that hour and 44 minutes with us. And so none of the things that you guys are doing, like, hey, have sex, am I right? They didn't get to hear you do that for 45 minutes straight.
Have sex, poop my pants transcends seeing Morbius. Everyone in the world
but
knows
it's
this.
not funny in general, but it's kind of funny if they know that you've spent the last 44 minutes repeating it
We just
constantly.
explained that we did that. Did we not? Did I not say that? We spent the last hour and 40 minutes just saying have sex, poop my pants.
Should I give a quick summary of the movie for those that didn't pay for the Patreon?
I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't.
No.
We can watch it
shouldn't.
again. Actually, do you guys want to watch it again?
There's zero summary needed because who cares about the plot of this movie? It's like there's nothing that needs to be summarized, right? What would you say?
Can I say two things actually real about the film? Two things that are like a film person would say. One,
Please.
I think the computer graphics were pretty good. The smoke and the face and his
The smoke
friend.
I thought was cringe, and then it just kept on happening, and I guess I just got gaslit into thinking it was cool. But I did think it was cool by the end. But maybe that was like Stockholm syndrome because we've been watching the film for so long. So I don't know.
And then there was a couple moments, and I think most specifically, we called it out in the live recording, when he was like, but I'll never drink the red. And then his friend showed up in front of big artsy red wall. It was like, ooh. There were glimpses.
Don't actually include that as an actual good thing.
There were
full
glimpses.
details.
Yes,
No, there was
yes.
nuance.
There was nuance. There were
No.
glimpses. Yeah.
No.
Or when you think it's Michael Morbius morbing on the nurse, but it turns out to be, spoiler alert, the friend. There's some moments.
Can I say, I think you're correct, and I think the only reason that the movie is so critically shit on is because it was originally supposed to be an R-rated horror Morbius telling.
Yeah.
And then they Sony'd it, and they were like, we need to add Marvel quips. And I am able to, look at those moments and laugh. I very much
See through the
enjoy the
gaps.
film.
Wait,
So
even the
I'm not even
Marvel
laughing
moments,
because
like
I
the
think it's
counterfeiting
funny.
scene and stuff?
Yeah, I'm able to look at it and be like, I know this is stupid, and I'm not enjoying it because I'm forgetting that it's stupid. I'm laughing because some parts of it are stupid.
I just hate when they go that's gonna leave a mark. It makes me actively want to shut off the movie.
I think that scene was fun, and
It wa-
he's breaking his hand in a bunch of places and saying what they are because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
And when he said "I am Venom," that I cried. That was
there are
honestly
cringe
inspirational
parts, but then I'm able to laugh at those for being cringe. Do I believe that there is a draft of Morbius that could have been a really good artsy horror
You're gonna say
comic
yes,
book
and I'm
movie?
gonna end this call.
I know, I do believe that. There are,
you know what? I'll give you some backup. I think there's a gem in there somewhere. I agree.
I think that it was a good
Stan.
script.
I agree. I think they
But
just made it into a
just-
superhero movie, and superhero
Stan's
movies
is
are fucking
suffering
trash.
from his contrarianism against me, but he hates this film so much that
do.
he can't full on hate it because
No.
I also hate it. So he's
No,
like,
because I think
that's
there are
not
little
true.
moments.
I think
There are
there's
moments in the movie that have that are a little bit clever, and you said it yourself during the recording that it's some scenes are actually good, and then it cuts to a scene that's so different and bad that you're it feels like it's two different scripts, and I think that that's true. I think that
Yeah,
the
but
original
I didn't
script.
think, to be clear, there was like a separation for me.
It was bad and worse, not good and bad.
Yeah. One of them was like a really bad film that was not funny at all and had no good dialogue. And then they cut to a completely different movie where he's quipping jokes whilst in a cafe. And I was like, there was one line there that was funny that was just a Marvel
But they're
movie
all
kind of line.
still produced and directed by the same people. Like, I don't think that that's a
Yeah, they were
problem with
both bad.
But I think it conceptually there was good parts, and if it had been run with a director that wanted it to be that way and cast that way and then rewritten that way, I think
I'm perfectly fine with saying that you like this film because like it's good to watch
It's
a bad
funny.
movie
It's
and
enjoying.
go, this is entertainment. I'm on board with that for sure. But I think saying that there is a good movie in there somewhere is crazy. When if a film is so bad that it's funny, you can't then be like, yeah, but it could have been a good film. Yeah, every film could have been a good film. What the fuck are you?
No, you can't.
In an
I'm on
alternate
board.
universe,
Actually, hell yeah, I'm with you. There's
right?
a nugget there.
I think I didn't say. I just said there's a good script.
No, don't say. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying you're actually right. This ridiculous
you're so
example.
cringe.
Yeah, there's something there.
Every bad movie could be a good movie.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it started. I'm saying that it started as a good script.
Ooh,
and
I
then
don't know if I
they
agree with that.
Sony'd it.
No,
like
I think
this,
it started
like the
with bad scripting.
dialogue. I'm saying like the story itself, what they were gonna do, started good, and then they Sonified it to death, and now it's all a bad movie. And I don't think that there are a lot of movies that started from conception as maybe something good that then get destroyed. And actually, that like we see that in like Watchmen is a very popular like. Some people call it comic book movie. It's like a graphic novel that's like really dark.
Yeah, I think it's
and has really dark themes. And that like movie upon release, awful movie, cut together, doesn't make any sense, cheesy. And then the director was able to release his cut, and it was a lot better. It was totally different. Like,
oh, interesting. I don't think maybe I haven't seen. I don't know which version I've seen, but Watchmen's great. The movie's really good.
So
I think.
they like, and that is the one
Maybe
that
I've
people
seen
point
the
to
director's
now. And I don't want to like be the reason I avoid.
The director's cut of Morbius would not be a good movie.
No, I
I'm not
completely agree.
saying-
Director's cut of Morbius would be dog shit. I'm saying that literally when they were like, hey, this Morbius comic, maybe there's an idea. Like, I'm saying that maybe the Morbius comic is good, I guess is what I'm saying. Like
they could have made a good Morbius movie, yes.
Sure,
but none of those parts exist in this apart from the fact that the guy is called Morbius and he does a morb.
Handshake, we agree.
Stans, I think you wanted to talk about something, or were you asking what would you do?
This is like a real question I have, because this has been a recurring meme in like the Veil universe, that you like Morbius, that you think it's a good movie.
It's not a meme.
Movie.
It's the truth.
Sure,
like
no,
Morbius.
exactly. And you say things like this all the time.
He's
But
saying it with a meme voice.
we've
for
had
sure.
this conversation where you're like, yeah, maybe there was a good movie in there, but it's so bad, and Sony ruined it and things.
Yeah.
As it stands, not the idea of Morbius, what would you give this movie that we just watched on a 1 to 10?
Okay, so as a movie,
And you can't
like,
say
as,
a more billion. I'll
No, I won't. I'll answer very
Wait,
honestly.
you can't steal his joke? That's cringe.
No, as a movie, like outside of like if I'm not viewing it as entertainment, if I'm viewing it like against all other movies,
Sure.
against,
I actually
like,
think you
how it's
can
shot,
view it as entertainment if that's how
as
you view
entertainment.
it.
It is unironically like a 9.5 to me.
I'm getting
I
nauseous.
thoroughly enjoy every time I watch that movie.
Sure. Okay.
I can't imagine
Obviously-
a universe where I want to see that again.
Obviously,
That I would
as a
never
movie,
choose to.
like script, cinematography,
Right.
editing,
If you're gonna get pretentious about
it's like a 1.5. Like it's
Okay.
not good.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
like,
So
and
okay,
I've
give it a
said that.
1.5 was my number. Was exactly where I am at with it. Yeah.
Well, shakes hand. We agree.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
shaking hands
crazy.
with the camera.
You're
Yeah,
doing it. And I do
Okay,
good
but Stans,
scales.
what's
Most
your-
people are
What's your
IGN.
entertainment rating then?
Oh, my entertainment rating is so first time watching, my entertainment rating would be a 3. Second time, this what we just did, it's a 1.5. There's no entertainment outside of the meme of watching it for the
It was
first time.
worse.
us
with me
going
and Will.
have sex all the time.
go ahead and say
Bad?
it.
Poop me pants, poop,
Yeah, that
me
actually
pants,
made
me
it worse. That made it a 1. Because
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, it's just going, what am I doing with my life?
pants. That was the only reason that's how I got through it, Stans. I was
Right.
doing the opposite
title-
of you.
Yeah.
The title of the video is just "This movie made Stans apply to a real job."
Yeah, I switched
This movie
screens.
made Stans buff up his resume.
So I was saying off the podcast, like in between watching the movie and then recording this part.
Yeah.
You two went to the toilet. I talked to Logic, and he was like, "How did it go?" And I was like, "It was good." I think that quite often I've noticed that most things that I do with Stans end up with him being like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
Yeah, it's also
like, this
too
is one of
long.
those.
This is like a
But it was
4-hour
good.
record of. This was 4 hours of Morbius. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Which
what's tough.
is,
That's what's
sorry,
tough.
The best
everyone
4
wants that.
hours of my life. Yeah,
It's just
That's
a lot.
$4 more billion we could have made. If
I
we made
honestly,
Morbius
I
during
think
this time.
Glee is too long. I'm like, what is a 22 minutes? Is Riverdale 22 minutes? Like the classic CW?
No show.
That's what I'm trying
No
to get
show
to.
that
Community.
is, like-
Community's like 22 minutes.
No show that has like a reasonable amount of episodes
Fans.
in a season.
I think it's really interesting that most people today want content to be like watching the creator suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
what
why
I'm
I
saying.
think this
Stans
is
feels
awesome.
like this is bad. Stans goes, this is bad content because I'm feeling bad. This is great.
It's great because
I
you feel
really
bad.
think it's
Let's
so
get this
funny.
clear. I'm only talking about from my perspective because I care about
Stan's
me.
like, I want to
I'm
die.
just like, I don't
it's not
feel
the
good.
content.
And that's it. Because I mean, hey, let's peel back the curtain. I don't watch most of my own stuff. I don't watch other stuff. And so it's like, I don't have to
You
subject
don't watch
myself
YouTube,
to it.
but that's your whole thing.
Yeah,
You
it's my
don't
whole
watch
thing.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
so all
Yeah.
I can experience is in the moment, and it was bad. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate this. That's it.
I mean, I will reveal that I am on antidepressants, and that may help me enjoy these movies a little better. So if you,
You just
we'll do the
OD.
next one.
Yeah, I
and the
need
next
prescription
one,
medicine to enjoy Morbius.
On the next one, if we do another one in person, I'll bring my Zoloft, and then we'll see how much you enjoy the movie that we watch.
I love that. Let's get
yeah.
Zoloft pilled and let's watch another movie. Maybe something
Wait,
slightly
podcasts do like this whole like, oh, we like took
Do it on
ecstasy
weed,
and did
do
a
it on
podcast. We do it on weed.
Yeah.
We do it on Zoloft.
Watching Morbius on Zoloft would go hard.
I wrote down the 10 hidden things that you missed as we were going through this film.
Okay.
Because Vale kept on saying, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but, and then the most stupid thing. So,
Most
I
cool
have
thing.
obviously, unironically, the best top 10 things that you missed from Morbius.
Okay.
Number one, there was one scene where Morbius at the start was testing the Morb serum on the rats. Do you remember where we're going with this, guys?
Yeah, because I said
Yeah.
vampire bat, more like vampire rat, and everyone laughed.
Banger. It bangs
Yeah,
the second
and-
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
So true, because you don't think about that the first time of watching that like they're doing wordplay with the visuals that we're seeing. How
course.
crazy is that,
course,
right?
of course, of
That's
course.
like
yeah. Agreed.
a different level of
It's
filmmaking.
a great movie somewhere in there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was also walking and shoes not tied. That's a very interesting note. Vale, do you want to take away with why that is the case?
I wasn't listening. I was thinking about Morbius again.
Yeah.
His shoes are untied, and
Oh
obviously-
yeah, because he walks on crutches, and they're like he wouldn't bend down to tie his shoes.
which obviously no one with crutches ties
I
their
realized
shoelaces.
immediately that was really dumb of a shot because
Yeah, but so what is the reason that the filmmakers didn't tie his shoelaces?
you know, man, I don't know. It's not my
get
job
it.
to know how the sausage is made. I just
Method
know
acting.
sausage.
I think we can blame method acting.
It's crazy. It's method acting, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm still trying to link anything. I can't even think of a funny
Go to the
reason
next one. Go to the
why.
next one. We'll think on it.
Dr. Michael Morbius was morbing in his office, and someone went in and he didn't want them to be there, so he said, "Get out." Which I don't know if you guys know. That's actually a reference to a different movie that
see what you're
came
doing.
out a couple of years ago. Really, really good film called Get Out.
Yeah. Yes.
so
I
that
actually
was-
have
that
a
was
lot of
really good
thoughts
one.
about the movie Get Out, but we don't have the time nor space for that.
We don't have the time because I'm only on number 3 of my top 10 stands.
Sorry,
so,
let's hear number 4.
Number 4. I don't know if you guys noticed this one. I'm going to say that for every single number.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
don't
I
know if you
appreciate
guys
that.
noticed this, but Michael Morbius, when he took his jacket off after getting mobbed, he was ripped. Did you see his muscles?
I
Yes.
did not see, no.
That's because he has the Morbius serum flowing through him. So
Good
he's-
detail.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't notice that normally. And if you pay even closer attention, he was kind of skinny beforehand.
He was, yeah. Now that I think about it, you're right. I did not notice.
So true.
No one noticed.
These are things that take an intellectual to notice, because Vale didn't even notice he's on the 9 million times that he's watched it. So,
yes, totally.
Okay, this one is crazy because I added to the. You've heard the level of things that I've added to this list, and you guys said this, but unironically. Matt Smith stood behind stood in front of a red background.
Yeah,
and you guys went, yeah, that shows us a hint of a good movie in here.
Well, because right
before that, he's drinking the blue, and he realizes that
he says,
it's
"I don't want to be on
to drink the red,"
and
it red reverberates, and then the next scene, Matt Smith soaking a cigarette, looking really cool in front of a huge red wall.
And he's the villain.
If I am making a film, I'm going to write notes for the film that I'm going to make in the future.
Great.
And anytime that I mention a color, I've got to make sure the next scene has a big wall of that color in it, and then it's going to be really, really cool.
To be fair, it shows that it's early access that Matt Smith is the villain.
It's early access?
Yeah, it's early access.
EA released it early. Let's go.
Right. It's not that he said red and red appeared. It is that like red would be evil. I cannot be red, and then it's like, oh, red behind him.
Yeah,
exactly. It's foreshadowing. I think is the.
It's early access.
It's early access.
It's what they call it.
Foreshadowing means.
It's early access.
Yeah.
You're right.
Thank you.
Light switches in the Morbius film and universe don't seem to. Like, lights don't seem to function the same way, because a nurse goes down a corridor and it's like, for some reason the light only follows her, but then she gets to the end of the corridor and she turns the light on normally and it works.
This is just you not understanding motion sensor lights and that they're wanting to conserve energy.
Okay, sorry. Are you saying that those motion sensor lights actually exist in the real world? Not as in motion sensor lights, the concept, as in the ones that literally hover over you for 2 seconds and then go off when you walk in between the lights and they go on the next time?
People that work in hospitals. Comments down below.
Is it actually? If I'm wrong,
I would understand where Brit wouldn't understand the healthcare there.
Yeah. No, I understand that America's in dire straits and they can't fucking afford to have lights on.
What's your next one?
The Hulk exists in this universe. I don't know if you noticed that one.
That's actually not true. He could have come up with that joke on his own.
Yeah, it was. You never had an original thought, but it's a reference.
It's a joke.
I think it's a reference. I think it's like a clever reference. At least the Avengers
was it? He could have just said, "You won't like me when I'm hangry," you know.
But what's that?
So much better. Write that down.
It's not. He's actually just telling him, "You won't like me when I'm angry." Hulk said it one time, unironically, right?
Yeah, but I feel like
take notes for your movie. You won't like me when I'm hangry is way better.
Yeah,
include that somewhere.
That's for Morbius too. This one's actually kind of crazy because Vale noticed this one, which quite often he was like, he was telling us some, but he was like really good with this one. There was an abandoned mall, and I don't know if you've played Fallout 3, but there's abandoned malls in Fallout 3. So
the crazy thing is, I feel like this was a Cans thing, and you're blaming the Vale.
No, it was me, but I was saying. When I see things, I say them out loud.
Sure.
Plot twist, I'm neurodivergent. I fucking just unfiltered stream sometimes. And there was an abandoned mall. And I said, ooh, abandoned mall, nice. And he said, what? And I said, I like it. Like in Fallout 3. And he said, what? And I said,
I
like the concept, like the environment of like the abandoned buildings things. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny to comment on an abandoned mall and then be like, oh, well, it came from Fallout 3.
That's a Fallout reference if you didn't play the game.
Yeah. Hey, it was. That was intended. A good movie somewhere. Next fact.
This one, okay, I added it to the list because it is stupid, but I think I feel like it has to actually be a reference, not in the movie, but like from the writers.
Okay.
When they look at Matt Smith and go, he's not the Doctor.
Yeah.
That has to be like they wrote that in the script and went,
for sure. That is just a reference.
Yeah. I agree with that. That felt very real because it only could have been more clear if they looked at the camera when they said it.
Yeah.
Because they even said it like
slow. To include, really, because it's like definitely breaking the fourth wall.
That's weird. Not the Doctor.
Yeah. Did you look at your camera when you said that?
I did. Right.
+2. in the final fight, Vale and Stans, I don't know if you noticed this one. This one's crazy.
I'm ready.
They're fighting throughout New York City, and Morbius, Mr. Morbin Time Man, gets hit into the Wyman Hotel sign. And
I thought it was the Hyman Hotel.
Don't.
Did you, or did you want to say Hyman?
He didn't. He.
+2 myself.
Did he get up and
No,
climb
I'm
Yeah, he
here.
himself?
did. He walked a circle around his room like a victory lap.
He hits
Yeah,
the
sorry,
M.
he hits into the sign, and what letter falls? M.
The
do you know why, Stans?
Because he's Morbius. What are you doing?
Because
Here?
that's
M
the
is
same
for
letter
Morbius.
of Morbius.
Oh
Do you know
my
what?
gosh.
Actually, the other letter that also falls
Oh.
was an O. Do you know what the second letter of Morbius is?
It's
Oh.
I feel like I'm Dora Explorer.
yeah.
On the map. On the map.
That was.
I'm
I will say at
sick,
that
I'm
point
sick.
my eyes had glazed over, and there's a chance I just didn't see it. You know.
Oh, you actually missed that one. I'm glad I brought it up.
I
Yeah,
heard you
good.
guys talking about like M is in Morbius. Am I right? And I was like, yeah.
It was all noise at that point.
Like
It
super
was
auto pets in the
unironically
background.
all noise at that point.
He could have. Wait, I'm pretty sure that's definitely a Stans thing to do. Have you been playing Super Auto Pets during any of this?
Can I admit something to you?
Yeah, man. Hit it.
I have. You can probably tell the moment I started.
It was probably around, actually, this is crazy. I've got a hidden 11th hidden thing that you
Whoa,
missed.
I thought there were like 10.
Okay.
Number 11, this was probably the point when you stopped paying attention and pulled
Yeah.
up Super Auto Pets. Have sex, have
Yeah,
sex.
it was that. It was that.
Poop
You
me
guys
pants,
would
me
not
pants,
stop
poop me
talking
pants,
about
me
it, and I was
pants.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna
Have
play that.
sex, have
I'll make a
sex.
couple comments. We'll do this voice recorder bit, and then we'll be fine. We'll move on with our lives.
Which I feel like if I was gonna listen back to this live commentary, that would be the part where I'd start enjoying it. So
That's crazy because that's where I went off the rails.
okay, so I think the only thing we can end with is we normally do like a catchphrase to end our podcast because Stans is really, really cringe and refused to do our really cool catchphrase that we started the podcast
It was not
off, so
cool.
he just
It was not
he just
cool at
does
all.
random things.
Can I, as a guest, can I say your guys' catchphrase for you?
No,
Like your
because
original one.
I've got an idea for this one. It
Okay.
involves you, Vale. Don't worry. There is we make Stans do the poop your pants to end the podcast.
I agree. I think that's better.
People love that. I'm ready.
So,
I'm ready.
Vale,
it means
we're
that
gonna
I'm one
say-
step closer to the end of my Morbius self.
You're almost there, buddy.
Actually, wait, yeah. Unironically, I think me and Stans, this is probably the last. This is the last time we're ever going to see this film, and this will be the last time that I hopefully talk about Morbius because
Oh, yeah,
You're
to God.
staying in my
I'm never gonna
house
see it.
for the next week. This is not the last time you're gonna watch Morbius, buddy.
Great. Hey, I will happily keep on saying have sex, because that scene is unironically so funny.
It's
I love
not.
that scene. It's so good. It's
You
so
are using
good.
unironically wrong because if that is not ironically
I'm
funny,
not.
I feel bad. Has to be
Okay,
ironically
well,
funny.
Actually, a funny
I
scene.
don't want to make Stans do that if he doesn't want to, and I do think that we all know because they said it in the movie. We all know the catchphrase of this podcast.
Oh yeah, the catchphrase of the movie. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
the catchphrase of this podcast. We
Wait,
are
of this
the few.
podcast?
We are the few against the many.
Oh, yeah. We did. That's the one thing we talked about that was actually like a movie thing.
Yeah, they did say that a lot. Have sex, have sex.
Of sex.
Poop your pants, poop your pants, your pants.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching. The best ending we've ever done. Holy shit.